The MAGA-ification of Mark Zuckerberg and Meta really needs to be seen in the context of the TikTok ban. Meta has denied directly lobbying on the TikTok ban, but the company spent a record sum lobbying in 2024, including on, quote, homeland security topics. And in 2022, Meta paid a firm called Targeted Victory to push the narrative that TikTok is dangerous to children. This story that China is a threat has served Meta really well, as Zuckerberg has been able to distract from Meta's many privacy violations, its monopolistic actions, by saying more or less that it would be worse if China wins. Zuckerberg railing against China started in earnest in a speech in 2019 at Georgetown University, where he said,
"And almost every country outside of China has been defined by American platforms with strong free expression values. But there's no guarantee that these values will win out." A decade ago, almost all of the major internet platforms were American. Today, 6 of the top 10 are Chinese. And we're beginning to see this in social media too. While our services like WhatsApp are used by protesters and activists everywhere due to strong encryption and privacy protections, on TikTok, the Chinese app growing quickly around the world, mentions of these same protests are censored, even here in the US. Is that the internet that we want?
Meta, and specifically Instagram Reels, would be the most obvious beneficiary of a TikTok ban. TikTok has now what Facebook once had, and which Instagram has, but it's losing quick: deep cultural relevance and a generation of users who love it. Facebook and Instagram still have billions of users, but AI spam, a terrible algorithm that seemingly only surfaces cringe, and a huge number of bots and people who post like their brains are made of mashed potatoes have made Instagram feel like a dying platform. So Zuckerberg's general narrative that Meta faces intense competition from China and that Chinese social media companies can't be trusted persisted across all of his congressional hearings, all these speeches, and he's repeatedly used the specter of China exporting its cultural values via social media as a shield to deflect from his own company's monopolistic tendencies, its privacy violations, and its harms against children. He's used this not only to avoid regulation of his own company and his own platforms, but also to seed the ground for regulation of other platforms like TikTok, and to basically generate what ultimately became the TikTok ban. Zuckerberg can see the prize, he can see the finish line, and the question is whether by kissing Trump's ass, by magnifying all of his platforms, if he can get Trump to finally push this over the finish line.